All right, so let's do this trailer breakdown here.
Okay.
So we're gonna be doing Aquaman 2. Aquaman 2, it does exist. People, it is coming out.
Aquaman 2, Aquatic Boogaloo.
I'm a husband.
So I seen this trailer. Did you already? Of course, you probably already saw this trailer, right?
I only saw the trailer the one time.
My job was a little less stressful than yours.
You have what's that actor's name? He's playing his father?
Tamura Morrison, who plays his father, aka Boba Fett.
AKA Boba Fett, AKA he's got them chiclets in his mouth.
AKA Captain Rex.
Captain Rex. Yeah, we have him. You know what? I don't want to give this too much praise because
I finally got it.
I don't want to be on Nathan's side. But you know what? I have to admit,
I'm excited.
It does look kind of fun. Okay.
Yeah, that's where I am with both the first movie and just looking off this trailer. It's like, this looks fun. It's like,
especially,
is any of this gonna matter? Probably not. Do we get a movie where Yahya Abdul-Mateen gets to go full scene tunery bad guy? Fuck yes.
And I tell you what makes it kind of fun. I'm a sucker for the hero teaming up with the villain. That's always kind of fun. And you do see that. You do see in this trailer, you're going to see Patrick Wilson is back. His half-brother in this movie. So you do see that. You also have Yahya Abdul-Mateen, who's coming back as Black Manta. And he looks exactly like Black Manta from the comics. Oh, yeah. Which is pretty cool.
It's like,
and that's a cool shot right there, too.
Yeah, it's like, how do you translate one of the silliest comic book designs into live action? And son of a bitch, they pulled it off.
Yeah. So that looks really good. So I am kind of stuck for that. And Jason Momoa, I mean, I was seeing a video and it was titled, it's by Nando Cut. And he said that Aquaman is Wet Lobo. And I was like, that's a perfect description. He's Wet Lobo.
They did kind of change him around in order to fit him into that archetype. It was like a case of they wrote the character around the actor versus the other way around. And for what it is, I thought Momoa did a decent job of it. And especially after seeing Fast X, where he was playing this like flamboyantly gay Cesar Romero version of the Joker for that franchise, I'm excited to see him act again. Especially in this, where it looks like he's having more fun with it than in the first movie.
Yeah, and you see the Black Manta costume again, very comic accurate. It looks really good. So I like to see comic accurate suits and things. That's always because they always try to, add so many layers and all these other different things to the costume instead of just letting it kind of go like that. So even sometimes, I mean, some superhero costumes, they look fucking goofy for sure. But I kind of do like that, and that they have this very comic accurate Black Manta. So that looks really good. How did you feel about the first Aquaman?
I wasn't crazy about it the first time I saw it. I thought it was just kind of, very, very by the number superhero movie. But then, as time has gone on, and the more I've rewatched it, the more I really appreciate that it's just a batshit fun, good time, which is when I think James Wan works at his best.
Yeah. And this movie, the last one, I didn't expect it to be as successful as it was. So the first Aquaman is the most successful DC superhero movie ever, which is surprising.
It's like the only DC superhero movie to gross over $1 billion, which a fucking Aquaman movie did that.
Yeah, didn't Dark Knight gross over $1 billion?
I don't think so.
I think it did. I think Dark Knight did gross over $1 billion. So, but it's one of the most profitable, and it's kind of surprising and baffling that while Nick looks that up, let's see if he can correct me.
Yeah, so The Dark Knight was 1.006 billion, and Aquaman was,
I believe it was like, I don't know, like 1.9 or something, or 1.5.
I
think it was something like that.
It's only showing me domestic.
Yeah. Well, Nick looks that up real quick. So it's one of the most profitable superhero DC films they've ever made. So it's kind of
Yeah,
baffling.
So
Oh.
$1.15 billion.
$1.15 billion. Okay. Yeah, so it's one of those. Yes, so it's kind of baffling that they took this long to release a trailer for it.
Mhm.
I guess because they don't know what to. DC's kind of in flux right now because they don't know what's going to happen with all these movies. Every DC superhero movie this year is flopped. Shazam flopped. Black Adam flopped. Blue Beetle flopped.
No, good.
So Blue Beetle, I think,
Flash
just
flopped. Yeah, the
yeah,
Flash flopped, which, yay, the evil is defeated.
So this one is the last one to come out this year. This is like the last DC movie to come out this year.
Yeah, this is the last one to come out this year, and I think this is probably going to do way better than people are thinking because it's Aquaman. It was the most successful one of these films so far, and it's also coming out in December, November, and it's one of the only big movies coming out around that time. Because I think the Marvels comes out like a couple weeks before that.
Yeah, because I think Marvels comes out in November, and this comes out in December.
Yeah, November 4th, and this is like around Christmas time, which is about the same time that the first one came out.
Yeah, so you have that nice holiday slot, like the Star Wars was in, and then Avatar came out in,
and the first Aquaman came out in.
And the first Aquaman came out. So it could just sweep up a lot of money. Just people going like, fuck it, let's just go see Aquaman. Let's go see Aqua Bro and have fun doing that. So it could do well just based on that. I don't know where this is going to fit in the grander scheme of the whole DC universe or anything like that. I have no idea.
Well, the sad truth is it probably won't.
Yeah, I don't know if this makes another billion. They're gonna probably try to find a way to fit it in somewhere, because I think Jason Momoa is only one of the few people that actually is staying on. I think with James Gunn, and
it's all like really, really in flux and being very cagey about giving a straight answer. Because to this day, we have not heard a straight answer about who is staying and who is going in the new DC universe.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Gal Gadot was trying to say is like, yeah, I've had meetings with James Gunn and Peter Safran, and like 2 weeks later, Gunn and Safran was like, "No, the fuck."
Yeah, they just embarrassed her publicly. Like, that's something you could. Yeah, I don't know why they outed her like damn. Send an email or something. They just said, "Nah, she lying."
Keep my name out your non-hacked ass.
They blasted her, man. They blasted her. But yeah, so. I mean, yeah, it does kind of look kind of fun there. I mean, I wasn't really a big fan of Aquaman, the first one. I wasn't really big on it. I didn't like the whole CGI Bukkake fight at the end where it was all the shit flying
all the raindrops in there. And
yeah,
it worked for me. And that's entirely going to be subjective depending on how you are as a viewer. And I just really need to see a good DC movie back to back because I really dug Blue Beetle and I cannot be hurt again.
Yeah.
I just can't be hurt again.
So the last two superhero movies of the year that we have, as you mentioned, is the Marvels and Aquaman. Will both of them be successful? And so the budget on Aquaman 2, what is it? What is the budget?
Oh, it's definitely at least like in the $200 million range. It's like $205 million is what I'm getting off of Google.
And then they did a bunch of reshoots too, right? They did a bunch of reshoots.
Ugh.
Yeah. So I would say it has to come close to $1 billion. And I think the same thing with the Marvels. It also has to come close to $1 billion because the last one, Captain Marvel, made $1 billion. So it has to come somewhere close there. Do you think that these two movies, can they do that?
Oh, not a fucking chance.
Okay. And
not a fucking chance. Because we are really getting to this point of, I'd say blockbuster fatigue with most general audiences, because you have a lot of stuff this year, stuff like The Flash, stuff like
Indiana Jones,
Indiana Jones that go back Mission Impossible. Go back 5 years. Go back 5 years before a lot of this. You release those movies exactly as they are now, and they are massive global hits. And the truth is that audiences are getting kind of sick of it. We want movies that feel a little bit more personal, which, say what you will about Avatar 2, it can't deny that is James Cameron putting his heart and soul into that project. And even the movies that did do well this year, stuff like Across the
Mario,
Spider-Verse, stuff like Barbie, stuff like Oppenheimer, those movies, you could tell that they were the passion projects of the people behind the camera. And I think that really reflects its audiences too.
Yeah. Oppenheimer, by the way, which just crossed $900 million. So I definitely do think Oppenheimer, I mean, it's just crazy how well that movie's doing. So I think it'll definitely be up for a lot of awards and probably win Best Picture. When you have a movie like a 3-hour biopic about a dude who made the atomic bomb by Christopher Nolan, that's probably winning Best Picture.
Yeah.
Like, they'll probably make this.
That's a lock for a nomination, and I'm so glad that it outgrows Bohemian Rhapsody, because thank God the evil is defeated.
And they'll probably make the Oscar stage like an atomic bomb. Like, you know how like, they made the Oscar stage like the Titanic ship? They'll probably make that shit the atomic bomb. That's what they're gonna do. And it's like, gee, I wonder who's winning Best Picture tonight. It's gonna be, you know what I mean? But with this movie, so our superhero movies, are they at the peak they were back, like you mentioned, 5 years ago? No, right? Because
hell no.
Because back then, just a few years ago, you had the peak of Infinity War and Endgame, and you had the build up and excitement and hype.
Yeah, you had the build up and incitement of Infinity War and Endgame. You had Into the Spider-Verse, which came out December that year. You also had Aquaman coming out at that time, which, say what you will, it was a massive hit.
Yeah. And then this year, mentioning the flops, the superhero flops, the common trend is they have been all DC movies. Usually quality of the movie that can, maybe hinder, or, that doesn't always indicate a movie will be successful or not successful.
Word of mouth is a motherfucker, especially when it comes to a lot of these blockbusters. I mean, it also probably didn't help with Warner Brothers and DC that they had advanced screenings of The Flash like weeks before the movie was coming out to try to get that like influencer marketing done for it. But then the movie ended up being a piece of shit.
Yeah. So, will that kind of impact Aquaman, with the fact that all these other DC things have been flops? I don't know. You mentioned it is in December. That's a good month to be in. Like, there's no real competition, and you can basically last because you're going into the holiday season. That's when a lot of people are off. That's going to carry over into January. So you can sweep up a lot of money because you're not going to have a lot of competition going against you.
Yeah, it's like if you have a good holiday season release, you can carry that success all the way into like maybe mid-February at the latest.
Yeah, and I think with this, this year's also because a lot of studios still recovering from COVID and just dropping stuff, and then that's what I think had all these movies on top of each other, like The Flash and Indiana Jones and Mission Impossible and Guardians of the Galaxy and Fast X and Across the Spider-Verse, so only a few could really get anytime now. With Indiana Jones, would that have flopped regardless of when it was going to be put out? I don't know. Probably, yeah. I think more than likely, probably would still flop regardless. But it didn't help that all these things were on top of each other. So that's another thing.
Yeah, and even the blockbusters this year that I liked, like Transformers: Rise of the Beast, that didn't get a fair shake because it came out right after Spider-Verse and right before The Flash.
Yeah, so a lot of that kind of is diverting attention away there. So will Aquaman 2 make $1 billion like the first one did? It's tough. I mean, it's tough to make $1 billion.
I doubt it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it hits like the $600 to $700 million range, at least domestically.
Okay, I'm gonna guess.
I wouldn't be surprised because
I'm gonna guess it makes like $800 million.
Because even in 2018, like most general audiences didn't have a fucking clue who Aquaman was outside of just being like this joke character. He's a character that is the butt of a lot of jokes when it comes to non-comic fans talking about superheroes.
Yeah. So, I mean, the first one was a surprise to me how well it did. So I was kind of surprised by that. So I don't know, maybe this one can surprise me too.
I mean, Avatar 2 almost grossed $1 billion too.
We
were talking shit about that. Yeah, we were talking shit about that also.
Yeah,
and you never know.
Yeah, but that was James Cameron, and then you never bet against James Cameron. I mean, James Cameron is, like I said in the review, I mean, he's the Tom Brady of filmmaking. I mean, you just don't bet against the guy. So We'll see. We'll see. Will people just kind of forget about it like they did the Flash and kind of fuck it? Like I don't know. We'll see.
I mean,
So yeah,
the movie just has to be like at least decent, and I think it'll probably like do better than the Flash.
yeah, just be as good or a little bit better on par with the first Aquaman. I think you'll be probably pretty fine. So yeah, that was Aquaman 2 trailer breakdown for that.